Hi everybody, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to another collection slash decluttering video. Today we're going to be going through all my blushes, and if you follow me for a while you probably know that I am a blush slash bronzer fanatic. So that's the reason why I couldn't fit both categories in just one video, because otherwise it would be super long. So today we're going to be going through my blushes, and I normally like those blushes that are a little more in the peachy kind of mauve tones, so you are going to see a lot of those. I don't have a preference on powder or cream. I think I like both equally, but in terms of shades they're all very similar. They all fall within the same color family, so I hope you guys enjoy. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so they're notified every single time I post. And now without further ado, let's get started.
It's been a day, stressing out like crazy, just wanna be lazy with my girls. It's been a day, we gonna get wavy, layer on some diamonds and some pearls. Maybe we could go to the mall, get our nails done, get our hair done, we fly. Maybe we could holler at the boys, looking so good, whistle when they walk by, cause we know what they want but we just laugh. Yeah, we won't let them get away with that. We walk tall.
The first blush that I have here is this one by NYX, the Sweet Cheeks Matte Creamy Powder Blush in the shade Red Riot. It has this kind of like mauve type of wine color. These blushes by NYX, they tend to last a very long time on the skin, and that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy it. The next blushes that I have here are these two by e.l.f. Cosmetics, and these ones are the Jelly Pop Flush Blush. They have very beautiful colors. The problem with this is that I've been having them for way more than 6 months. I think their shelf life is 6 months, and this one is in the shade Peach Pop, but as you guys could see, the formula is getting a little dry. I normally don't like to buy this kind of formula. I've learned over time that when it comes down to creams or to jelly type of formula, they tend to dry it out or go bad very easily, as you guys could see, and I don't feel safe to continue to use them because I've been having them for more than a year. So I am gonna declutter this too. The next blush I have here is this one by Flower Beauty, and this is called the Flower Pots Powder Blush, and I have it in the shade Peach Primrose. This blush is one of my all-time favorite blushes. The color is just perfect for my skin tone. It goes with pretty much any makeup look. This is honestly one of my go-to blushes. As you guys could see, this one used to have a rose. I've used it so much that the flower is hardly there, but this is one of my all-time favorite blushes in terms of shade, formula. It lasts a very long time on the skin. The next one I have here is this one by Milani, and this one is the Baked Powder Blush in the shade Luminoso. And this blush was very famous many years ago here on YouTube. I actually never really tried the original Luminoso. I know a lot of people say that they reformulated. I bought this one maybe like about a year ago, and I really like it. It's very creamy, and the color is very pretty. It's actually one of those blushes that if you don't want to use highlighter and you just want to use luminous blush like the name says, this one is very pretty. It goes on the skin very nicely, and I really enjoy this baked formula because I noticed that this type of blushes tend to last a little bit longer in my collection. The next three blushes that I have here are this by M Cosmetics, and these are the serum blushes. Here you have Sunset Sky, Venetian Rose, and Peachy Peach. When you first apply them, they look like they are going to be very pigmented, and as you guys can see, they're super liquidy, but once you blend them out, they kind of like melt into the skin. They do blend more in a sheer. Perhaps this one, as you blend it out, they kind of like just blends into the skin and gives you more of that flush color. They look very pretty on top of any foundation. I've never had my foundation break apart or anything like that. Compared to other blushes that I've tried that are similar, I think that these look very stunning. I just wish that they would have give us a different type of packaging in terms of the sponsor. Like, you never know when you're gonna get a lot of product. It has this little kind of applicator that you press on it, and it's supposed to pick up some product, and when you open it up, this is what what it looks like. The problem that I have with this is that sometimes you get product out and some other times is definitely really hard. As you guys can see, I'm pressing on it and I'm not getting anything out. I would have preferred a pump perhaps, because this one is definitely not the most user-friendly, but other than that, these are very pretty. From Colourpop, I have 4 of the Super Shock blushes. The formula is definitely different. They kind of feel like a putty, but they're not, and they're actually very creamy. It's not necessarily a powder, but it's also not a cream, so no matter what you have underneath, these always look very pretty. I normally like to apply them with my finger, or sometimes I like to apply them with the stippling brush. This one is in the shade Noveke, and it has a little bit of a sheen, so I'm just gonna swatch all of them. This one is in the shade Get Laid, and they are so pigmented. This one is in the shade Drop of a Hat. This one, it's not matte. This one has more of a sheen. And the last one I have here is called Decluttered, and this one is also very pretty. Like I said, the formula, it's so stunning. I really enjoy them. From Hourglass, I have 2, and these are called the Ambient Lighting Blush, and I have it in the shade Diffuse and also in the shade Dim Infusion. Hourglass has such a beautiful formula for their powders. They're so finely milled. They look so pretty in photographs. They also last a very long time on the skin. As you guys can see, these blushes are very subtle. They blend so nicely. They give you such beautiful color. So this definitely have to stay. From MAC, I have 10 blushes and I have 4 different formulas. The first one is the powder blush, and I have the shade Blush Baby, Malva, Gingerly, Fleur Powder, and Peaches. These MAC blushes are highly recommended. I really enjoy them. They're very pigmented. They last a very long time on the skin, and they've been with me for such a long time. The next ones I have here are the Glow Play blushes. This is the shade So Natural. It has a little bit of a peachy, nudie undertone. It looks very pretty, and these are very similar to the Colourpop blushes. As you guys can see, they feel also kind of like a putty. You can kind of press it. It's actually very satisfying. I also have it in the shade Blush Please. The color is a little bit darker, but same. As you guys can see, these are very squishy, and this is what the other shade looks like. They're very like in that mauve type of darker tone. These are definitely a little bit darker than all the other ones that I have. The next blush that I have here is from the Extra Dimension line. This one has more of a satin finish. It's a very luminous kind of blush, very similar to the Milani Luminoso. It goes on the skin very smoothly. They are very creamy. That's one of those things that I really enjoy from MAC blushes. I like to use this type of blushes more in an everyday basis, because then I don't have to worry about applying any highlighter. And the last ones that I have here are these 2, and I think these are more like big blushes. I have the shade Love Joy. This is more of a shimmery blush. You could definitely see the sparkles on this one, and I also have it in the shade Warm Soul. Warm Soul has been one of my favorites for such a long time. It's so natural, so pretty, very similar to the shade So Natural in the Power Play blushes, but this one just has such nice sheen. So this is another one that I really enjoy. Now we're gonna move to my Wet n Wild blushes, and the first one that I have here is this one in the shade Keep It Peachy. I believe this is in the old format. I've been having this blush for such a long time. This one has more of that orangey type of shade. As you guys could see, normally I like to wear these blushes more in the winter time when I tend to be a little bit more pale. Another Wet n Wild blush. This one, it's more of their newer kind of packaging. This one is in the shade Nudist Society. These blushes are very pretty, but this ones have more of a glitter particles. So if you have a lot of texture and large pores, you might not like this, only because the glitter or the shimmer is actually very noticeable. This shade is actually not as pretty as I remember, and it has more of that kind of like golden type of glitter. Finally, I have the shade Pinch Me Pink. This one also has more of that glitter particle, and it's more of a pink tone. These blushes are not as pigmented as other blushes that I own, and this is what they look like. As you guys can see, these have a ton of glitter. I am gonna get rid of them. I've been having them for such a long time, and the glitter is actually quite large, and that's one of the reasons why I really don't reach for them that often. So I am gonna get rid of this. So now let's talk about Essence blushes. This is in the shade 10, and I love the shade so much that I actually bought it twice. I think this is the one that I use, but this shade is a very pretty. It has more of that kind of like a rosy type of mauve tone, and it looks so pretty on the skin. As you guys can see, it gives you such a beautiful color. I really love it and I didn't realize that I had ordered the exact same one, so I am gonna get rid of one of them and I'm just gonna keep one. The next blush that I have here is this one by Essence, and this one is the Satin Touch blush, and I have it in the shade Satin Coral. Essence tends to make such beautiful formula. They're so creamy, buttery. The only problem, I do notice that they kind of like fade after a few hours. I don't think that these are as long wearing as many of the other blushes that I have. I normally have to either apply a setting spray, or I just have to be very careful with not touching my face too much. Also with the mask, they do tend to transfer a little bit. Another Essence blush that I have here, the Silky Touch blush, and I have it in the shade 60 Life's a Cherry. A few summers ago, this used to be my go-to blush. As you guys could see, I used it so much. It's such beautiful color. The powder is so creamy. The color is a little bit more kind of like a bright pink, and it looks so pretty, especially during the springtime, summertime. I've had this blush for a very long time, so I think I am gonna declutter it. I have the MAC one, and although the MAC one is a little bit more in the orange side, they kind of give the same finish on the skin. It's just the MAC is obviously a little bit more in the orange side, and this one it's more in a pink, but I think I'm okay with letting the Essence go. Moving on, I have this one by Rimmel, and this one is the Maxi blush. It's in the shade Sweet Cheeks. As you guys can see, you get a very large compact, and this one is actually very similar to my Flower Beauty blush. The Flower Beauty is just a tiny bit darker. They're both very affordable. They last a very long time on the cheeks. You get a lot of product for this. You actually get a 30-month shelf life on this Rimmel blushes, so this one definitely is gonna stay. I love this type of colors. As you guys could tell by my collection, most of my blushes are either on this kind of shade range. I know I have a lot that are very similar, but I promise you they're all different in their own way. So now we're gonna go with e.l.f. and the first one that I have here is the Prime Infused blush in the shade Always Peachy, and this one is another one of those blushes that comes in a very large pan size. These blushes last such a long time in the skin, and they go on very smoothly. As you guys can see, it looks so pretty, and these are also very affordable. You really don't need to spend a lot of money to get very nice quality blushes. As you guys can see, these are so stunning. I also have it in another shade, and this one is Always Cherry. This one has more of a sheen to it. This one actually feels a lot more creamy than the other one. This one also looks very similar to the Essence blush now that I'm looking at it. This one is just a little bit lighter and a little bit more orange. Next, I have the Bite Size Base Duo, and this one is in the shade Lychee, and this retail for only $3. I was very surprised the first time I tried them. You get a blush and a highlight, or you can mix the two. So I'm going to show you what they look like once you mix them together, and this is what they look like once you blend them together. You get a very nice luminous type of blush. Personally, I like to use them separate. I would normally use this as my blush and this one as my highlight, but as you guys can see, the colors are so pretty. I really like them, and for $3 you really can't go wrong. They're so creamy, they're so pigmented. From the same line, I also have the shade Spiced Apple, and this one I bought it in recommendation of Juicy Jazz. She made a video and it looked so stunning on her, so I decided to pick it up. Same, you get two shades, one that it's matte and then the other one is a shimmer. On this duo, the shimmer is a little bit more the darker side, so I can't really use it as a highlight. Normally I use it as a blush topper. At first I thought they were very similar, but as you guys could see, this one looks a little bit more mauve and this one looks a little bit more rich, kind of like a terracotta type of shade. And I really enjoy this type of blushes for everyday or for going out. These are definitely recommended. The next one I have here is this one by Cover FX, and this one is the monochromatic blush duo in the shade Warm Honey. And as you guys can see, these are very pretty. This one is actually very similar to the e.l.f. Bite Size duos. I think e.l.f. was going after these blushes when they created them, because as you guys can see, they're very similar. This color Warm Honey is actually very similar to this one right here in the shade Lychee. The Cover FX is a little bit more warm, it's a little bit darker, and the color next to it is actually very different. They look so pretty. I really like the way that they look together and also on their own. So these two are the Cover FX and these two are the e.l.f. Cosmetics. If I was to swatch them and not tell you that one is high-end and the other one it's affordable, you wouldn't really be able to tell, because they have the exact same consistency. They last a very long time on the cheeks. The Cover FX shimmer, it's a little bit finer than the e.l.f. one, but nonetheless they're both very creamy. This one by Cover FX, I got it during the Ulta 21 days of beauty sale, so this one is gonna stay. I've been having it for not that long anyway, so I still want to play with it a little bit longer. The next blush I have here is this one by Patrick Ta, and this one is called the Monochrome Moment Velvet Blush in the shade She's Sincere. I got these blushes when they first came out, and I literally have to hide this blush so that I won't use it, because I really enjoy it. These blushes have such beautiful formula, so when you want to swatch them, they feel like you hardly get any color payoff. It's not very swatchable, if you may, but once you apply it to the skin, they look so pretty. This formula is honestly one of my all-time favorite formulas. If I was to get rid of all my blushes, all of them, and only keep one, I strongly believe it would be this one, because they are just such beautiful blushes. They go on the skin so nicely, so smoothly, and they look so pretty. They're not matte, but they also don't have any shimmer or anything like that. They just look very beautiful, very velvety, very look expensive, and I really like the look that it gives my cheeks. The other one that I have is one of their newer blushes, and this one is Double Take Cream and Powder Blush, and I have it in the shade She's So LA. Just look at this duo. So you get a cream and then you get a powder. This color is so pretty. This is what it looks like. At first it looks a little intimidating because you might say that it's very dark, but it's not. It's actually such beautiful wash of color. So you apply the powder first, and then on top you blend it with the cream, and it's supposed to give you such beautiful color. This is what it looks like, and they last such a long time on the skin. They look so creamy, so buttery. I really like his formula, his aesthetic, everything about his brand is just so beautiful. I've tried a lot of stuff from his brand, but honestly the blushes are my all-time favorite. The next blush I have here is this one by JCat Beauty, and this one is the Blush Mellow Soft Blush in the shade Dolly Peach, and it also has that kind of consistency as the Colourpop and the MAC Play blushes. As you guys can see, you could press it and it's kind of like a putty, and this is what the color looks like. It's so pretty. It's an orange, but it's very vibrant. But I really like this kind of blushes for those days that I'm not gonna wear any eye makeup and I just want my cheeks to look very flush, very fresh. These kind of colors are so pretty. This is another one that it's very affordable. JCat, you could get it at Ulta, and you can also buy it directly from their website, and the blushes are like about $3. One of the things that I've noticed is that the packaging on these and the MAC blushes is exactly the same. If anything, the MAC blushes just feel a little bit more heavy, but other than that, they're the exact same thing. The next blush I have here is this one by Bare Minerals, Mykonos, and this one is the Gen Nude Blush in the shade On the Mauve. The texture of the powder is very smooth, and this is what the color looks like. It has a little bit of a sheen. It's not glitter, but it does have like a little bit of a shimmer, and the specks are kind of gold, but they look so pretty. They're very, very fine. The difference with the Wet n Wild ones is that the glitter particles are way too big for me. So I do have pores and I do have a little bit of texture, so I need things that have a glow or a sheen, but I need the sheen to be so subtle so that they could look pretty luminous, but they don't emphasize any texture. And this one with Bare Minerals is really nice. I've only used it a few times, but I really do enjoy it. The next blush that I have here is this one by Kylie Cosmetics in the shade We're Going Shopping. This one is actually very pretty. The formula is very creamy and it's actually very pigmented. The color, same. It's one of those peachy type of tones that I really love. I personally not a huge fan of Kylie Cosmetics, so I normally tend to get this during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, or sometimes on Black Friday they tend to have them for $10, and that's when I picked them up because I did wanted to try them. I just didn't want to spend the money on them because they're quite pricey, and I'm not sure, but I've heard a ton of people say that they use the same labs as Colourpop does. So as I mentioned before, I'm not a huge fan of Colourpop's powder blushes because I don't feel like they last a very long time. So that's why I was a little afraid to pick this one up. But yeah, if you want to buy this, please don't buy them full price. They're very expensive, and for the $10 I think they're okay, but I personally wouldn't pay full price for them. I am gonna keep it because, like I said, I do like it. Just keep in mind that sometimes they do go on sale, so just wait. The next one I have here is this one by Buxom Cosmetics. This is the Wanderlust Primer Infused Blush in the shade Mykonos, and these blushes, a lot of people talk about them so much, so I was very curious to try it. This shade Mykonos is so pretty. They do give you more of that luminous type of color. It's very subtle, and I really enjoy them. They don't emphasize texture or anything like that. The next one I have here is this one by Sephora, and this is the Colorful Long Lasting Blush, I believe it's called. I actually got this a very, very long time ago. I think I've been having this blush for close to 4 years now. Back in the day, I used to really enjoy blushes with a lot of shimmer. I'm sure you guys can see on camera all the glitter particles. There you go. Way back when I didn't have large pores or anything like that, I was able to use this type of blushes and they look so pretty. Let me apply a little bit more so that you guys can see. The glitter, it's so pretty on the blush, very similar to the Wet n Wild. Yet again, the shimmer on this one is a lot smaller, but now as I got older, obviously I have a little more texture. My pores are a lot more noticeable, so I cannot get away with using this type of blushes anymore. So even though I would love to keep it because it's so pretty, I am gonna get rid of it because if I'm being honest, I don't reach for this type of blushes a lot, and I think that there would be other people that would be able to get better use off of it. So this one I am gonna let it go. The next blush I have here is this one by Covergirl in the shade 105. These blushes have been out for such a long time. They are some of my favorite formula. They have a very nice satin finish. For this specific one, I really like the way that it makes my skin look. It just makes me look healthy, awake. The color is so pretty. Normally I don't gravitate towards this type of shades, but this one is so pretty. The next one I have here is this one by Becca Cosmetics, and this one is the Luminous Blush in the shade Snapdragon. Isn't this gorgeous? This is what it looks like. This one is also very similar to that shade from my Essence blush. This one also gives you a very nice luminosity to the skin, and I also like to use this in my eyes during the summertime. The next one I have here is this one by KBD Beauty, and this one is an eyeshadow in the shade Lolita. Now I got this eyeshadow and I really liked it, but one day I decided to try it as a blush, and it's the most beautiful shade of blush. Obviously this is an eyeshadow, this is not meant to be a blush, but I love the way that my cheeks look every time I use it. It's brownish, I don't know, it's so pretty. I mean, makeup is makeup, you can use it for whatever you want. So this one I use it as a blush and I really enjoy it. One of my favorites next to the Patrick Ta comes this one by Persona Cosmetics. This is the Super Blush in the shade Georgia. This color, I mean, just look at this. This is so pretty. These blushes are just so stunning. This is what it looks like. As you guys can see, it gives you such a seamless look. It's just such a beautiful color. I really love the way that it makes my cheeks look. I use it a ton. It photographs so nicely. You get such nice beautiful color payoff. It makes you look healthy. There's another shade that they just launched and I am so curious to try it, so I might pick that up in the near future. But Georgia, you need it in your collection. Next I have this one by Melt Cosmetics. This one is in Honey Thief, and once you open it up, this is what it looks like. Same, it's so creamy and it has such beautiful color. This one is more in a matte finish. Are you looking at this color? Like, this is perfection in a blush. If you have more of that olivey type of undertone, this one, amazing. The next blush I have here is this one by Palladio, and this one is the matte blush in Toasted Apricot, and this one is brand new. I am not gonna open it, so I am gonna pass this one. The next one I have here is this one by Alamar Cosmetics, and this one is actually a palette, and this is what it looks like. They have such beautiful quality, and this is what they look like. As you guys can see, the colors are so pretty. This one definitely my favorite, and sometimes I like to mix this too and use them. For the cream blushes, I keep them on this little box, so I am gonna show you everything I have in here. So we're gonna start with Fenty, the Cheeks Out in the shade 06 Decorate Dip. I actually featured this in one of my summer videos, but this is what it looks like. The color is so pretty. It's kind of like red orange, but it's such a beautiful color. It looks so fresh on the skin. They are very pigmented. I have another one, and this one is a recent purchase. This is in the shade Fenty Glow, and this one, I believe this one was limited edition to their Christmas collection, and it came with a highlighter and also a gloss bomb, if I'm not mistaken. This is what this one looks like. It's actually very similar to the Patrick Ta blush. It just, this one is a little bit more in the warm side, and this one is not as pigmented, but they still look very nice. They're super creamy. I really enjoy them. Lastly, I have one of the matchsticks in the color Chili Mango. This one is a beautiful orange shade, and it does have shimmer, but it looks so pretty on the skin. Like with all the other blushes, as I mentioned before, if you have a lot of texture or you have very enlarged pores, something like this I wouldn't recommend. A friend of mine actually bought the exact same one, and she did mention that she didn't like the way that it looked, but because her pores are a lot larger and she did had a lot more texture on her skin. For me, I really didn't mind it. It looked very pretty, but I did have to be careful and not use too much, because obviously no one wants that textured skin to show. So the next ones I have here are these two by Flower Beauty in the shades Rosie Posie and Raising the Roof. These are brand new. I've been having them in my collection for a very long time, and I never reached for them. I've never felt the need to open them. I am gonna pass this along to somebody else. The next two that I have here are these by Jordana Cosmetics, and this one you can buy at Walgreens, and they retail for less than $5. These are so pretty. These are the colors, and they're so affordable, and I wish more people would talk about them because these are amazing. The next ones I have here are these two by Colourpop. This is the blush stick. This one is Under Pressure. Let me just do a small swatch right here, and this one is Dash Zero, and this is what that one looks like. These are also very, very pretty, as you guys could see. I normally like to set these with the loose setting powder to make them last even longer. So these two I'm also gonna keep because I really do enjoy that formula. The next one I have here is this one by Tarte Cosmetics, and this one is the Basic Gal blush in the shade Mood. This is what this one looks like. This one reminds me a little bit of the NARS Orgasm blush. This one is a little more pink than Orgasm. This one is more of a sheen. This is not like a matte finish, kind of like a pearly golden type of shimmer. So I don't really reach for this one ever. I reach for all the other ones a lot more than this one. So this one I am gonna declutter. The next one I have here is this one by Peachy, and this one is the Multi Balm Stick in the shade Soft Strawberry. This is what that one looks like. This color is actually very, very pretty. I had even forgotten I had it. The next two I have here are these two by Revolution Pro or Makeup Revolution. These are the blush and lift in the shade Peaches and Bleach. These are also very, very pretty. These are very sheer. When you first swatch them, they look like they're gonna have a ton of pigment, but once you blend them into the skin, they are very similar to the Cosmetics serum blushes. This is the shade Peaches right here, and this is the shade Bliss. And as you guys can see, I've used a ton of Bliss because it's one of my favorite shades. The next one I have here is this one by Rare Beauty, and this one is in the shade Love. I actually have a review on the Rare Beauty line. I honestly like this color a lot. It's a little bit deeper, but it looks so pretty. It's super pigmented, so you need a tiny amount. The next one I have here is this one by Nude Stix, and this is the Nudies Bloom in the shade Sweet Peach. This is what this one looks like. This one has a little bit more of a lighter tone. It's still very pretty. It's still very blendable. I like this one because it comes with a little brush on the other side in case you're in the go or whatnot. The next blush I have here is this one by Milk Makeup, and this is Lip and Cheek Stick and the shade Work. This is so pretty. I've used a ton of it, as you guys can see. This is what that color looks like. This one is another one that I really enjoy. I actually really like to use it in my lips as well. The next one I have here is Tower 28, and this is the Magic Hour blush in the shade Beach Please. In terms of formula, it's also very similar to the Patrick Ta Duo. It has that same consistency. This is what the color looks like. It's actually a little bit similar to the color Work from Milk Makeup, just this one it's a little bit more mauve, and this one it's a tiny bit more pink. The next ones I have here are these two by RMS Beauty, and this one is the Lip to Cheek in the shade Los Angel. These are also very nice. They're so creamy and moisturizing. This one is another one that is a little bit similar to the Magic Hour, just this one same, a lot lighter and a lot more pink. This is another one that I really enjoy because you could use it in your cheeks, you could use it in your eyes, you can use them in your lips. I also have the shade Paradise. I really like the little container that they come in. This is what the shade Paradise looks like. The next one that I have here is this one by Physicians Formula, and this is the Organic Wear Dewy Blush Elixir. I actually have a video doing a full face of Physicians Formula, but this is what it looks like. It's more in a kind of like a serum type of formula. The only downside to this blush is that you have to be very careful with what you put underneath because it can break apart your foundation. This blush, I would recommend it to you only if you're not using a very high coverage foundation. If you just have kind of like a tinted moisturizer and you want to apply this on top, it looks pretty, but other than that, it's a really nice blush. You do get a lot of products, so that's another thing that's a plus. And the next one I have here is this one by Flower Beauty, and this one is the Blush Balm in the shade Nectar, and it's so pretty. I really enjoy the shade. It's such beautiful shade. It's peachy, it's fresh. These blushes are so beautiful. I would definitely recommend. They're affordable, and now you can buy them at CVS. The last blush I have is this one by Glossier, and this is the Cloud Paint in the shade Meme. These are actually quite pigmented. I was very surprised with the color payoff and how much they last on the skin. I've heard a lot of people say that these two are dupes or alternatives, so I am planning on doing a product showdown so that you guys can see it and you could judge for yourself, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, these are all my cream blushes. How the drawer ended up looking like. Now I have all my cream blushes. I have more of my putty and powder blushes here, and then here I have more of those luminous kind of baked blushes, as well as my pantry top blushes. So these look very pretty. And Luna is here. She wants to come and see the blushes. Hi. So now I have it all laid out. So these are the blushes that I'm gonna give to friends and family. It's not a lot of blushes that I'm getting rid of. Just remember that in these videos I'd like to go through my things, but I don't get rid of a lot of stuff because I do normally use it, reach for it, and they're just things that really make me happy and I want to keep. So these are the ones that I'm gonna give to friends and family. I decided to take out one of the elf blushes as well as one of the Colourpop sticks. These two I'm gonna throw away because, like I told you guys, these are pretty old. And finally is these three. These two by Flower Beauty and this one by Palladio. These are brand new, so I'm probably gonna throw these in one of the giveaways. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments what's your favorite blush, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.